Hi friends, here in this video I am going to teach second techniques in wedge friction. In the last video I taught first techniques in wedge friction, that is how to use static equilibrium equation concept in wedge friction. But in this video I am going to teach second techniques, that is how to apply Lami's theorem in wedge friction problem. Okay, before learn this we must know two basic terminology comes in wedge friction, that is angle of friction and angle of repose. Okay, first I am going to teach angle of friction. This is explained with one simple sketch, that is I am going to take one block. This is my block. This block is placed on the horizontal plane. This is my horizontal plane. Then I am going to apply one external force on this block. This is my external force P applied in this direction. This is applied load P. Then this horizontal floor exerts some normal reaction force to this block to its equilibrium position. Okay, this is my normal reaction force N. Then due to application of this external force, this block start to move towards right. That time this friction force, that is the limiting friction force, is acting opposite to this block movement. Here this block is moving towards right, so the limiting friction force is acting towards left. Okay, now I am going to take these two reactive forces. Okay, this limiting friction force and the normal reaction force are called it as reactive forces. Okay, then take these two reactive forces separately. Okay, this is my limiting friction force F. Then this is my normal reaction force N. Then I am going to find resultant force of these two forces. Okay, this is limiting friction force. This is normal reaction force. Then the resultant force comes in between these two lines. Okay, this is my resultant force R. Then I am going to define angle of friction, that is the angle between resultant force to the normal reaction force is called it as angle of friction. This is angle of friction mentioned by letter pi. Okay, now I am going to teach angle of repose. This is explained with one simple sketch. Okay, here this block placed on the inclined plane. Okay, this is my inclined plane on which I am going to place one block. This is my block. Now we assume that this angle is 1 degree. Okay, that time this block will not slide down. Okay, so now I am going to increasing this angle step by step manner. That time, okay, what happened? After reaching some angle, this block start to slide down. Okay, that angle is called as angle of repose. Okay, I am repeating again. At some angle, okay, at some angle, this block start to slide down. That is called as angle of repose. Now this angle is 1 degree. That time this block will not slide down. Then I am going to increasing this angle 1 degree to 5 degree. That time also this block will not slide down. Then I am going to increase this angle 5 to 10 degree. That time this block may start to slide down. That angle is called it as angle of repose. Okay, now I am going to teach how to apply Lami's theorem in wedge friction. Okay, let me take one system. This system composed of wedge, heavy block, vertical wall and horizontal floor. Then let me draw free body diagram of this system. This system composed of two major components, that is wedge and heavy block. Now I am going to construct free body diagram of this wedge. Okay, free body diagram of wedge. Okay, this is my wedge. It has triangular cross section. Okay, this is my wedge. Then this wedge subjected to one external push P, that should be mentioned on free body diagram. Okay, this is my external force P. Then due to application of this external force P, this wedge start to move towards left. That time some amount of friction force going to be exist at this interjunction and wedge and floor interjunction. Okay, this two force should be mentioned on this free body diagram. Before that, this horizontal floor exerts some normal reaction force to the system to its equilibrium position. Okay, this is my normal reaction force mentioned by letter N1. Then this heavy block exerts some normal reaction force to this wedge to its equilibrium position. That should be mentioned here. Okay, this is my normal reaction force due to this heavy block. That is mentioned by letter N2. Then come to limiting friction force. Due to application of this external force, the limiting friction force is acting towards right, here towards up. These two force should be mentioned on our free body diagram. Okay. This is my limiting friction force F1. This force is acting towards right. F1. Then in this inclined plane, the friction force is acting towards up, because here this wedge is moving towards left. So always the limiting friction force is acting opposite to this wedge movement. Okay, this is my limiting friction force F2. Then come to our basics. Okay, now I am going to replace this two force instead of one single force. That is called as resultant force. Okay, this is my resultant force will come in between these two forces. Resultant force R2. See carefully. This is resultant force mentioned by letter R2. Then here we have two reactive forces. One is normal force, one is limiting friction force. This two force replaced by one single force, that is called as resultant force. So the resultant force will come in between these two forces. That is mentioned by letter R1. Then we know what is angle of friction? The angle between normal force to the resultant force. This angle is called as angle of friction. Okay, so this angle mentioned by letter pi 1. Similarly, angle between resultant force to the normal reaction force is called as angle of friction. So this angle is mentioned by letter pi 2. Now in this point I am going to draw some reference x and y line. Okay, this is my reference x and y line. Then I need this angle. For that I am going to construct some triangle. Okay, before that I am going to extend this line of action of this normal reaction force N2. I am extend in this direction. Okay, then give name as this point is capital A, this point is capital B, this point is capital C. Then based on the triangle I am going to calculate this angle. Okay, Angle of A is known, that is alpha. Okay, this angle is alpha. Okay, this angle also alpha. Then this line is perpendicular to this inclined line. So this angle is 90 degree. Then angle of C is nothing but 90 minus alpha. Okay, then I am going to extend this reference vertical line like this. Then this point is assumed as D. This point is assumed as D. Then take in this triangle of BDC. In this triangle we know angle of B. That is, we don't know angle of B. Let me find now. Okay, angle of C is nothing but 90 minus alpha. Then this line is perpendicular to this horizontal line. This is 90. So this angle will be alpha. Okay, sum of angle of triangle equal to 180. Here 90. Okay, 180 will be cancelled. Then alpha will come here. That is discussed in the earlier classes. Okay, this is alpha. Then this angle also alpha. Then I am going to take this external force P, then reactive force, that is resultant force R2 and resultant force R1 separately. Okay, this is my reference vertical and the horizontal line. Here the applied force P acting in horizontal direction. Okay, this should be mentioned here, horizontal force P. Then this angle is pi, this angle is alpha, this angle is pi. Then I am going to take only this resultant force R2 here. Okay, this is my resultant force R2. It makes angle alpha plus pi 2 with the vertical line. Okay, listen carefully. This resultant force R2 makes sum of angle of alpha and pi 2 with the vertical line. That should be mentioned here. This angle is nothing but sum of alpha plus pi 2. Then come to R1, resultant force R1. This force is acting in this direction. Here I am going to draw some reference line. This resultant force meet at this origin point. This is my resultant force R1. It makes angle pi 1 with the vertical line. Okay, this angle is pi 1. Now I am going to apply Lami's theorem, because we have three forces which are in concurrent manner. So we can apply Lami's theorem. Okay. Before applying Lami's theorem, we are going to use law of principle of transmissibility. Based on that, I am going to rearrange these forces in some manner. Okay. This force is here. This external force P is shifting towards left. Okay, this is my reference vertical and horizontal line. I am shifting this P force in this direction. This is my external force P. Then I am going to shift this R2 force in the third quadrant. Okay. Now this resultant force R2 in second quadrant, by using principle of transmissibility, this force comes in third. This force comes in fourth quadrant. Sorry, this force comes in fourth quadrant. That is R2. Here this angle is alpha plus pi 2, means this angle. Okay, this angle also alpha plus pi 2. Okay. Then I am going to shift this resultant force R1 from third quadrant to first quadrant by using principle of transmissibility. So this force will come here. That is R1. Okay, then the resultant force makes an angle pi 1 with the vertical line. So this angle also pi 1. Now we can apply Lami's theorem. We have three force. These three force in concurrent manner. Okay. Then first force P. Okay, P by sine of its opposite angle. Here this angle is opposite to this P. That is 180. 180 minus pi 1 minus alpha minus pi 2 equal to, then come to resultant force R2. Its opposite angle is this angle, that is 90 plus pi 1, sine of 90 plus pi 1. Then come to resultant force R1. Its opposite angle is this one. Okay, R1 by its opposite angle is 90 plus alpha plus pi 2, sine 90 plus alpha plus pi 2. Okay, based on this equation we will get unknown value in these problems. Okay, as of now this wedge part is over. Now come to heavy block, then construct the free body diagram of this heavy block. Okay, this is my heavy block. Okay, this is center of gravity of the heavy block on which self-weight going to be added. But in the previous case, the self-weight of wedge is not mentioned because the weight of wedge is very less compared to weight of heavy block. So that time we did not mention self-weight of wedge on the free body diagram of this wedge. But here this block having huge mass. That time we should mention the self-weight of heavy block. That is mentioned by letter capital W. Okay. Then due to application of this external force P, this heavy block start to move towards up. That time some amount of limiting friction forces occur at this interjunction and block and wedge interjunction. Okay. These two forces should be mentioned on the free body diagram. Before that, this vertical wall exerts some normal reaction force to this heavy block to its equilibrium position. So this is my normal reaction force N3. Then this inclined plane exerts some normal reaction force to this heavy block to its equilibrium position. That should be mentioned on free body diagram. This is my normal reaction force N2. Then come to limiting friction force. Here this block is moving towards up. That time limiting friction force is acting towards ground. So F3 should be mentioned here. This is my limiting friction force F3. This is acting towards ground because this block is moving towards up. Then come to here. Here this block is traveling from lower end of wedge to upper end of wedge. It means that this block is moving towards up. That time the limiting friction force is acting towards down. Okay, listen here. Here this block is start to move from bottom of the wedge to top of the wedge. It means that here this block is moving towards up in this direction. That time the limiting friction force is acting towards down. Okay, this is limiting friction force F3. This is movement of this arrow. This arrow mentioned that the movement of heavy block. Okay. Here I need only limiting friction force. So take this limiting friction force on free body diagram. This is my limiting friction force F3. Sorry, F2. Okay, this is limiting friction force F2. This is limiting friction force F3. Okay, then come to our basics. What we learned in start of this video, that is angle of friction. Okay, now I am going to replace this two force into a single force, that is called it as resultant force. Okay, this is my resultant force. This force comes in between these two forces. Okay, this is resultant force that is mentioned by letter R3. Okay, then define angle of friction, that is angle between resultant force to the normal reaction force N3. This angle is nothing but angle of friction, that is mentioned by letter pi 3. Okay, then come to here. Here we have two reactive forces. These two reactive forces replaced by one single force, that is called it as resultant force, that is mentioned by letter R2. Then define angle of friction, that is angle between normal force to the resultant force. This angle is nothing but, okay, this is resultant force N2. Then this angle is pi 2. Okay. Now I am going to construct reference x and y line at this point. Okay. This is my reference vertical line. This is my reference horizontal line. Here I need this small angle. Okay. For that I am going to construct one triangle. Okay. Before that I am going to draw one horizontal line at this point. Here I am going to draw one horizontal line. Okay. This angle is alpha. This angle is alpha. Then this point is assume as x. This point is y. This point is z. Okay. This point is z. This point is y. This point is x. In this triangle, angle of x is alpha. Then this line is perpendicular to this inclined line. It means that angle of y is 90 degree. Then angle of z is nothing but 90 minus alpha. Angle of z is nothing but 90 minus alpha. Then take this small triangle z, y, and this point is u. Okay, this point is u. Then in the angle of, then the triangle of u, z, y. In this triangle we don't know angle of y. Okay, here angle of z is 90 minus alpha, angle of u is 90 degree, then angle of y is nothing but alpha. Okay, this angle is alpha. Okay, now I am going to take this self weight of heavy block, then resultant force R2, then resultant force R3 separately, then apply Lami's theorem. Okay, before that draw reference x and y line. Okay, here the self weight is acting towards ground, that should be mentioned here. Okay, here the self weight is acting towards ground, that is mentioned here W. Then here the resultant force R3 comes in second quadrant. Okay, that force meet the origin of this reference x and y line. Okay, this is resultant force R3, that in second quadrant R3. This resultant force makes an angle pi 3 with the horizontal line. This angle, yeah, this angle is pi 3. Then come to R2 force. Here the resultant force R2 in fourth quadrant. Okay, that force meet the origin point. Okay, this is resultant force R2. Okay, here this angle, this R2 makes an angle alpha plus pi 2 with the vertical line. I am repeating again. The resultant force R2 makes angle alpha plus pi 2 with the vertical line. So this angle is nothing but alpha plus pi 2. Alpha plus pi 2. Okay. Now I am going to apply principle of transmissibility. Okay. With the help of that law, I am going to arrange this force in some order. Okay. This is my reference X and Y line. Okay. Then this self weight is acting towards ground. Okay. This is self weight acting towards ground. W. Then this resultant force R2 in fourth quadrant, by using principle of transmissibility, this force goes to second quadrant. Okay. This is my resultant force R2. Now this force in second quadrant. Okay. This angle is alpha plus pi 2. Then I am going to shift this resultant force R3 from second quadrant to fourth quadrant by using principle of transmissibility. This is my resultant force R3. It makes angle pi 3 with the horizontal line. So this angle is pi 3. Okay, this angle is pi 3. Now apply Lami's theorem, because we have three forces which are in concurrent manner. So apply Lami's theorem. W by its opposite angle is 90 plus pi 3 plus alpha plus, okay, this angle. Simply this angle is opposite to self weight of the heavy block. Okay, that angle is sum of pi 3 90 plus alpha plus pi 2. So sine of 90 plus pi 3 plus alpha plus pi 2 equal to, then R3, its opposite angle, sine of its opposite angle is this angle. Okay, this angle opposite to R3 force. Okay, R3 open bracket 180 minus alpha plus pi 2. Okay. one eighty minus alpha plus pi 2. Yeah, this angle is opposite to resultant force R3. Then come to resultant force R2. R2, its opposite angle is this angle. This small angle is opposite to resultant force R2. That is 90 minus pi 3. So sine of 90 minus pi 3. With the help of this equation, we will get unknown value in wedge friction. Generally, this method is very simple compared to first method, because in a short time we will get answers. So this method is preferred only for, not this method is suitable for PSU exams, because in PSU exams we don't have more time. They will give only lesson. Within this time we can solve this problem with the help of this Lami's method. Okay, Lami's theorem method. Thank you.